Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS. In this video, we are going to cover an important chapter from the point of view of environment and civil services. And this is chapter number 10, Life Processes in Plant. This is from the class 7th book. So let us understand this and make the most out of it. Okay. Okay. So it already says that we have learned a lot in grade 6. We have learned that all living beings will grow. They will need food for their growth. And we have also learned in the last chapter that we were studying about. We studied that nutrition is required, respiration is something required. Okay. And have we seen plants eating food like the animals do? Okay, it is trying to create a distinction between understanding which one requires sunlight as a source so that it can produce its own food, or whether you are talking about an animal which derives its food, that is in the form of energy and nutrients, from the plants. Okay, so we have learned that food provides what? Nutrients like carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals. All of these are required along with water. All of this is essential for growth, and therefore we need all of this mechanisms of digestive system. All right, now talking about the next part. Our question, number one question is, how do plants grow? Okay, we have said that growth and development is something that is needed. Okay, growth and development is needed for you to classify something as a living organism. There is one very important part, and that is growth and development. Okay, it has to grow and develop further. That means the structures would change. That means a tadpole will turn into a froglet will turn into an adult frog. All right, now let us see. Have you observed any changes in the plants during its lifespan? As a plant grows, new leaves, branches, all of that emerges, and you find that the height will also increase. Its stems thicken. Okay. Do you think this causes what? Why? What do you think causes these changes? You have to discuss this. Okay. So first of all, it starts with another activity. Activity 10.1. All right. Now we are trying to see what is required, whether it is sunlight, water, what it's okay, whether it is soil or something like that. Okay, so let us see this. This is an activity. I'll just explain it to you. Okay, so you see this. We are saying that let us keep 3 pots. 3 pots are there. Pot number A, pot number B, pot number C. Okay, all of this. First, we talk about pot A, that is kept in direct sunlight. That means sunlight is there, and also it has water. Okay, water and sunlight both are there, and you water the plant. There is a plant that is of equal size, plant of equal size. Okay, plant of equal size, and preferably it is said that you must use a plant that is fast growing in nature. So plant of equal size in all of these 3 pots. In pot A you will have direct sunlight and water. In pot B you have direct sunlight, but water is not there. Water is not there. We are trying to ascertain that in presence of sunlight whether water is required or not. Okay, between A and B. Now in C you're seeing that pot C is kept in dark. Okay, this means light is not there. Light is not there. And with water, that means water is there. Okay, so one condition is when both of them are present. When light is present but water is absent. When light is absent and water is present. How do the plants behave with respect to their growth and development? Okay, so now further it is said that you must record the effects. And what are the differences? What are the differences that you observe between the plants and the 3 pots? Okay. So the result, we'll move finally to the result, is that you are likely to find that the plant in pot A. Acha, let me write down what is pot A. Pot A contains both light as well as water. Pot B. Pot B contains light but no water. Pot C. Pot C contains light. Sorry, it does not contain light. It is dark and water is there. Okay, so let us see the results. The results are, it is kept in direct sunlight with adequate water. It grows much better than the plant in pot C, which gets adequate water but no sunlight. The plant in pot B have died as it did not get water even though it received adequate sunlight. That means when we talk about the differences that we see, pot B though it will die. Matlab die because there is no water there. Okay, this will grow. There will be slower growth here. Okay, and in this there will be higher growth. Okay, So this points to the direction. This points to the direction that we require. That means the plants, if you have to derive this understanding, the plants will require these factors like the direct sunlight as well as water. So that is the inference that we make. One fascinating part. This is a fascinating fact, and it contains very interesting facts for us to know. So it says that trees do not produce fruits and flowers merely because they are planted. Okay, that means they require continuous replenishment in the form of water as well as sunlight. It is not just that you will plant a tree, you will plant a particular vegetation, and you will feel or you will see that they are growing on their own. They need continuous replenishment. You need to feed them water, you need to feed them nutrients, you need to feed them sunlight. Okay, so this line is from the ancient Indian text that is named Vriksha Ayurveda. Okay, now coming to the next part, next question: how do plants get food for their growth? How do plants get food for their growth? We are saying that growth is required for living organisms. Living organisms will grow and develop. And then how does plant get their food? Okay. So first thing is leaves. Leaves become the food factories of plant. Now there is a very interesting activity. There is activity that is there that determines whether the leaves are where the food of the plants are produced. Okay, so here you will see that plants, it is said, the plants store the food in the form of starch. We have seen that starch is there, and that is with respect to the digestive system. We have seen that starch gets converted into sugar, and that is why we feel that the food is sweet in taste. Okay, so now we see the starch produced in the leaves of the plant, which by design are generally broad and flat. So we have seen the leaves. The leaves are generally like this. And you will find that this is quite broad and it is flat. These are mostly green. They are mostly green. You will have different colors of leaves also, remember, but mostly they are green. It is green because of the presence of a green pigment in them. Green pigment that is called chlorophyll. This chlorophyll, what is the function of this chlorophyll? It is used to capture the sunlight. It is used to capture the sunlight efficiently. Okay. Now let us demonstrate the activity. So what it says, we are again using iodine solution. We are saying that let me take the starch test. Let me take the starch test. Okay. So here what it does is in this activity, they're using this. They are taking a leaf. Okay. The leaf has been put into alcohol. This is alcohol. The leaf has been. This is alcohol. Okay, and this setup is put into a beaker like this beaker which has water in it, and this water is boiling water. This water is boiling water. Okay. Now when you do this, after this is done, what happens is, if you put, it says the further activity, this it says, if you put a few drops of diluted iodine solution with the help of a dropper on the decolorized leaf, and you wait for a few minutes and observe, the color of the leaf changes to blue black. It indicates the presence of starch. All right, let us see it again. Okay, now just read this all. We are starting with, you keep the leaf in boiling water for a 5 minutes. We keep it in boiling water so that it gets decolorized. That means it loses its color. Okay. Then dip this leaf in a test tube containing alcohol and place the test tube in a beaker containing boiling water. We have done this. Okay. And wait until the leaf becomes colorless. Okay. When it becomes colorless, you will take it out on a plate and then you will add few drops of iodine solution. When you do this, you will find that it turns into, the leaf changes the color. That was decolorized leaf, that was colorless. It changes into blue black. When it changes into blue black, it is a clear indication that starch was present. All right. So decolorization was involved because we have to observe the color change. That is the presence of starch, right? So from this activity, we have learned that water and sunlight are essential for plant growth. And in this activity that we have recently done, we have discovered that green leaves store starch as food. That means there is clear presence of starch because there is iodine solution, diluted iodine solution, turning into blue black color. Okay. Now, how does sunlight contribute in production of starch in plants? This is another activity. So there is a person who does this kind of activity, Bhaskar. So Bhaskar has taken a leaf from both green as well as non-green patches. A leaf which has green as well as non-green patches. You will see that there are some non-green patches also, and primarily we will see that non-green patches are the ones where the chlorophyll is lacking. So from each of these two similar potted plants, one kept in sunlight and the other kept in the dark for 36 hours. He wanted to compare the leaves before and after the starch test. Okay, so he has taken these leaves and he has noted down where do I have non-green patches and where do I have green patches. Okay, he has taken a carbon copy of it and drawn all of that on a piece of paper. Okay, so he performed an iodine test on the leaves. So what is the result of that iodine test? So you will observe that the light conditions for the potted plant. Okay, there are two things. One is the plant that is kept in sunlight. The other is the one that is kept in dark. So initial colors before the iodine test, the green and the non-green patches are already there. Green and non-green patches are already there. What is the final colors after the iodine test? It is green patches turn the leaf turn green patches of the leaf, they turned blue black. That means there is presence of starch. Okay, that is, this change of color indicates the presence of starch. But what about the plant that was kept in dark? The plant kept in dark in absence of sunlight, there was no change in color. What does it mean? It means that just because sunlight was present, I found out that there is presence of starch. When sunlight was absent, I found out there is no change in color and therefore there is no starch, as in the previous condition. Okay, so this is about the leaf. That means in the dark, plant dark does not show a blue black color even on green patches, indicating that the starch has been produced, that no starch has been produced in this darkness phase. Non-green patches of the leaf obtained from the land plant placed in sunlight, they do not turn blue black. The reason is that the chlorophyll that was capturing the sunlight efficiently, they are not present in these non-green patches. Okay, and when chlorophyll is not present, that means the sunlight's energy is not of no use. It is not going to produce starch for the leaves. Okay, so non-green patches may not have sufficient chlorophyll to prepare enough starch to be detected in the iodine test. Okay, now moving on to the next part, role of air. Here the concluding line can be concluding line. We can infer that chlorophyll helps in preparing starch in presence of sunlight. Okay? It is essential for the preparation of starch. So we are saying that chlorophyll is necessary and also sunlight must be present at that point of time. Now, next part, role of air in the preparation of, that means is air required, or we could do without air also. That means if you just place it in soil, moist soil, and you have sunlight, does it appear that the food is going to be prepared? So the thing is, it is again there through an activity. It is said that you take a pot of plant like this. Okay, you take a pot of plant like this, potted green plant, and keep it in dark for 2 to 3 days. That means no sunlight. You are using dark medium, and 3 days to allow it to de-starch. That means any form of starch, it should be devoid of it. It should not contain any amount of starch within it, so that we are ready for our experiment. Then locate one leaf of this plant. Let us say this is the leaf. This leaf. What do we do with this leaf? We take a wide mouth bottle like this, and we have pour some caustic soda. This is sodium hydroxide into this. Okay? If you pour sodium hydroxide into this, and then after this, what do? You keep it in sunlight. Okay? That is, half of the discharged leaf is into the bottle through a split cork. Okay, this means you can see this part. You can see this part. This half of the leaf is inside the nitrogen, sodium hydroxide part, and the other part of the leaf is outside. And then you place the bottle as shown. What is the result? If you take out this leaf and you dip it in iodine solution, you'll find that this turns blue black. That means the one that is exposed to air. Okay, and the one that was not exposed to air does not change color. Okay, you will see this. Okay, so the observation here is that we notice we notice that the part of leaf that was outside the bottle turns blue black, indicating the presence of starch. Okay. However, the part of leaf inside the bottle does not turn blue black in color, indicating the food is not made in that part of the leaf. Okay, this is because the caustic soda solution inside the flask absorbs the carbon dioxide present in the air. Okay, this is so nice. We are saying that there is sodium hydroxide. Okay, this is caustic soda. Caustic soda is actually absorbing the carbon dioxide that is present in the air. If there is no presence of carbon dioxide, then the leaf will not produce starch. That means the leaf will be devoid of food. Okay, so this experiment shows that carbon dioxide present in the air is essential for plants to prepare starch. Okay, so based on our learnings, what all things are important for the plants to grow? So we have found that sunlight, water, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide, all of these are essential for synthesis of food in plants, and this process by which plants prepare food in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll is called photosynthesis. Okay. Now, understanding this, there is next question. The next question that comes to us is to understand that plants take in carbon dioxide from air and water and use sunlight to prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis. This is correct. But do plants only take substances from their surroundings, or do they also release? Do they also release? This is the next question that we are going to answer. Do they also release something? Is it possible for the plants to release something? So this is again through an activity. In this, you will have two setups. These two setups are there in which you have a plant that is drowned in water. Okay, and setup A is placed in sunlight. You place it in sunlight, and the setup B is in dark. This is in sunlight, and this is dark. Okay, so what is the difference between the observed two setups? You will find that there is air bubbles emerging. In this part, you will find that there are air bubbles. Okay, this is immersed in water. This is water, and this is inverted test tube. This is inverted test tube. You will find that air bubbles will rise here. Air bubbles will rise here. This is not a mechanism that takes place here. Here it is not taking place. Okay. So inverted test tube in a setup A, the gas produced in the setup causes bubbles to emerge and get accumulated in the inverted test tube. Now we want to observe what this gas actually is. Okay. So there is an inference. There is an inference that similar setup is there. You can read it from the conversation between these two people. So when sufficient gas was accumulated, okay, now just to observe which gas is being there, which gas is there released, released by plant. So we try to find out. So when sufficient gas was accumulated in the inverted test tube, Barkha Didi placed her thumb on the mouth of the test tube while taking the test tube off the setup. And then she quickly inserted a lit matchstick into the tube, and then matchstick produced an intense flame. So you see that oxygen, if it is present in the gas, in the tube that we are talking about, in the test tube, if a lot of oxygen is present, and if you go for a lighted matchstick, it will burst into intense flame. That is what was observed. This means that plants actually give out oxygen. They release oxygen. Okay, so inference is that the gas in the test tube is rich in oxygen, and it indicates that oxygen is released during the process of photosynthesis. It also indicates that photosynthesis occurs in the presence of sunlight. Why presence of sunlight is required? Because in the second part we see that there is no such light, there is darkness, and therefore no such air bubble is being released. All right. Now coming to the last part, in a nutshell, in a nutshell, talk about photosynthesis in a nutshell. So this is the equation that we must remember, that carbon dioxide is needed, water is needed, presence of sunlight is needed, chlorophyll as a pigment on the leaf is needed. Okay, because without chlorophyll you may not have production of starch. It will then produce glucose as well as oxygen will be released. Okay, now coming to this, there is one scientist that we should definitely know about. He's very popular in India, Rustam Hamursuji Dastur. From 1896 to 1961, studied the process of photosynthesis. That is, how much amount of water is required, how much amount of sunlight is required, how much amount of food is being produced, these kind of things. What is the effect of temperature on photosynthesis? He made a research on that. Now, coming to this part, this question, that how do leaves exchange gases? How do leaves exchange gases during photosynthesis? So we know that photosynthesis requires oxygen. We have already seen that. Oxygen is released in process. Which part of the plant helps to exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen? So we are basically concerned with oxygen, how it is getting released and how is carbon dioxide getting inside the plant. Okay, how does the exchange of gases takes place? Now it again says that you must perform an activity. Now this performance of activity is something that will reveal that under the microscope, okay, we are talking about leaves, we use a water solution, okay, and we place it on it, and then we take a thin film out of that leaf, and then we observe it under the microscope. Okay, what do we observe? We observe there are small pores. These pores are called stomata. Okay, stomata are present on the surface of the leaves. They are the ones responsible for any exchange of gases. Okay, so you can read here. So these are the kind of bean-like structures you will see. Okay, so stomata is present on the surface of the leaves, and they help in exchange of gases. Okay, now the next thing, how does transport take place in plants? When we talk about transport of water or we talk about transport of food, just like we were talking about the digestive system, how does nutrition get to us with respect to us eating complex food items? So let us see transport of water and minerals first. Okay, so all living organisms, they need water to grow. This is there. So plants will also use water in the process of photosynthesis. Water along with minerals in the soil is taken up by the roots of a plant. That means roots is the point of contact from which the water gets taken up, okay, along with minerals. So minerals are important nutrients for the growth of the plants. It is important for the growth and development of their structures. Okay, so how do water and minerals get taken up by the roots and move to other parts of the plants? We see this through an activity. In this activity, what we do is we require 2 glass tumblers, some water, red ink, and twigs of 2 similar tender plants. Okay, let us see what happens. So you see this experiment. Okay, so what we are doing is we are taking 2 glasses of water and we are inserting 2 twigs, similar twigs. Okay, in one we are leaving it just like that, and in this we are going for red ink in this water. Okay, this is colored water. We are placing the twigs into the water with different treatments. Okay, what do we observe? What you observe is change in color in the water, and also the change, and you will find that this plant does not exhibit any kind of color, but this plant you can see that there are red spots. Okay, red spots. Why there are red spots? Because the water that we introduced, it was red ink. Okay, red ink mixed with water, and this was something that was taken up by the plant. It was taken up, and therefore it exhibits red color. Okay, that is if you cut. Now it has also shown the cross section. So this cross section, if you see, if you cut it from this side, what will you observe? This is the cross sectional area. Cross sectional area, when you view the stem from the beneath part, you'll see that there is phloem and then there is xylem, and this will have the red ink contained within them. This means that if I introduce color in water, it will also get transported. This is an evidence of the plant having this kind of a pipeline to transport water. All right, so let us read it. So here it is. This is due to a thin tube-like structure called xylem present in stems, branches. Now, where it is present? It is present in stems, branches, and leaves of the plant. Just like red ink, minerals, since it can transport red ink, it can also transport minerals dissolved in water. They also move up the stem through xylem. Okay. Now, what about food? We were talking about water and minerals. We are clear, okay? Because just like red ink travels, it will also travel. What about food? So you will see that here it is food that transports through phloem and water transport through xylem. These are the two pipelines. You could say they are pipelines for transportation of food and water. So we know that leaves are primary site for photosynthesis. So this means leaves, food factories, leaves may food is being produced. If food is being produced, it needs to be transported everywhere. The food prepared by plants is transported to all parts, from leaves to every part of the plant. So this food is transported through another set of thin tube-like structures called phloem. All right. So the transported food may also be stored in some other parts of plants such as seeds, fruits, and so on. Next question that we have. Next question is that, do plants respire? Do plants respire? That means, do they take in oxygen, oxygen in, CO2 out? Okay. Another activity that we see. So here what they've done is, this is the activity. We will see this. So in this activity, what they have done is they have said that let us try and keep. We will what we will do is, this is germinating seeds. Okay, this is moong beans, and you will find that they have introduced a wet cotton like structure, and they have introduced it here. Okay, these are sprouted moong beans. That means they have been kept overnight and they have sprouted. Okay, now what do we see? That there is a connection of this tube, and there are two tubes connection to this part. One is going directly into lime water. The content of this tube is that it contains lime water. What about the other tube? It is not getting anything from this beaker. From this beaker, nothing is going into this second one. From the first one, you are getting it from the beaker. Okay. So what happens? If now understand this, if there is any kind of release, any kind of air release from the sprouted beans, that means it should get inside, it gets inside tube 1. Okay, this tube, and tube 2 is not getting any kind of thing. Okay, so gets into one tube. Now if this happens, you will find that this lime water, the lime water that is contained in this test tube, if there is a release of carbon dioxide, if there is a release of carbon dioxide, then this lime water will turn milky, will turn milky. Okay, it turns milky. So this is what is something that is being observed, and in the second test tube you will find that no such kind of changes take place. You see this. Compare both the test tubes for any change in color. Does the lime water turn milky in both the test tubes? The answer is no. Why does the lime water turn milky in test tube connected to the flask? It is because the carbon dioxide is getting released by the plant. Lime water turns milky due to presence of more carbon dioxide in flask. But where does this carbon dioxide come from? As we know, carbon dioxide is naturally present in small quantities in air. So in the flask, additional carbon dioxide is being produced as the seeds as they respire. So there is no confusion that the other test tube that was not connected to the flask, it did not turn milky because of the atmospheric carbon dioxide, but because additional carbon dioxide was there in the flask that was released by the sprouted beans. Because of that, you will find that the lime water will turn milky. Okay, so what is the equation here? So we have already known that oxygen, carbon dioxide is required. Carbon dioxide is also exhaled as a process of respiration in plants, essential for all other living organisms also. Okay, so you have glucose plus oxygen that releases carbon dioxide, water, and energy. So the energy produced during respiration is used by the plant for their growth and development. All parts of the plant, whether it is green or non-green, all of them will carry out respiration. Okay, so this is the different mechanisms for synthesizing, transporting, and utilizing food energy. So this is the end of the chapter. I hope you have learned something new. So the chapter that we were studying, this is from the chapter 10th, Life Processes in Plant. This is from class 7th science book. Hope you learned something. If you have any doubts, please comment and we will get back to resolving your doubts. Thank you so much.